Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Conversations. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Steve Holder. I'm your host, and my co host is Smiley Story. Say hi, Smiley.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. It's really important live.
Yes, it is. And we have a special guest. Her name is Michele Lee. She has a story to tell about a tragic thing that happened in her family, a double murder. And I'm not going to say too much about that to start out with. I'm going to let her tell her story. And I will want to let everybody know that this is a very sensitive topic, and Michele and her family have been through a lot of trauma, still going through it. So it's all about her tonight. So everything is about her. Anything else will not happen. Okay. So I'm sure everybody will be on their good behavior, and I thank you all for being here. And before we bring Michele up, Smiley, do you want to say anything?
I do. Again, I want to say this is a very serious matter. Again, Steve is right. It's all about Michele. There will be a zero tolerance in here tonight. And it is warnings, trigger warnings. If you have little kids, you might want to take them out of the room. Um, it is definitely 18 and over. Michele is very courageous to come tell her story.
Yes, she
Um,
is.
this is a family that was torn apart. This is about also Michele's going to tell her story and her family's story, but this is also another family. You got to think about what's being said because and I don't know all the details. I don't know how far Michelle's going to get into it, but someone else might be watching and they lost a son in this too. And it's just a very sensitive matter. So please just sit back, listen, and take this very seriously. Please, this was not easy for Michele to come up here.
All right. So, having said all of that, I'm going to go ahead and bring Michele on.
Welcome.
Michele,
Thank you.
thank you for being here. And you heard everything we just said, but I want to say again to you that this is your night. It's all about you. Tell your story the way you want to tell it. Anything you don't want to talk about, that's fine too. So there will be questions later, but if it's okay with you, I'm just going to let you go ahead and start and give you the mic, and you can tell your story. Take as long as you want or as briefly as you want to be. It's all up to you. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Thanks, Smiley.
Welcome.
My name is Michele, and my sister was murdered in 2017 of September by my stepbrother. My sister was murdered along with her boyfriend. He buried them on his property. 5 weeks before, he shot and killed my sister and her boyfriend. He held a gun to my daughter's head and attempted to rape her. She did escape, jumped out of his vehicle, and a passerby was coming home early from work, witnessed it, and called 911. Wayne was, at the time, the witness seen. Wayne had my daughter by her neck and 2.5 feet off the ground. When Wayne recognized the guy yelling at him, he threw my daughter down and took off. Then police were called, and one of the officers that came to the scene went to school with Wayne and believed Wayne over my daughter. So no charges were pressed on Wayne. He did not get any charges. Well, 5 weeks after that, my sister was shot and killed. The reason for me telling this story is there's a lot of hearsay and a lot of conspiracy theories out on social media, and it's not true. They're absolutely not true. Wayne murdered my sister, and he held a gun to my daughter's head and attempted to rape her. He was under the influence of drugs at the time. The toxicology report states that, and everything I say tonight is what's in the criminal complaint, and they're facts. They're not conspiracy theories. This is exactly what my family is going through and what we have went through. Wayne did drugs unbeknownst to our family for years, pretending to be a law-abiding citizen, police officers as his acquaintances, people in the community that were were well known and law-abiding citizens. But underneath all of that, he's just a monster. The drugs just consumed him. He shot and killed my sister. A day before this, he told my nephew, which is my sister's son, Lisa knows too much and she can't keep her effing mouth shut. Then my sister, that day that my sister disappeared, she had left a message for my niece on a whiteboard saying she knew something was going to happen. Because she knew that Wayne wasn't stable. He was under the influence of drugs. He was doing drugs. She left a message to my niece that she chooses her. Unless anything happens to her, they were going to get a place together. And she also said on the whiteboard to my niece that she has seen the clear. We don't know what my guess is. Crystal meth is what they call clear in that world. And it said, I seen the clear and Wayne thinks I'm going to come over, but I'm not. Well, she changed her mind and she went over there and now she's gone. And so is her boyfriend. But that night he shot and killed them. He buried them on his property and then dug them back up and buried them again further in the woods. He hid her vehicle in his woods on his property. And then on, I believe it was September 28th or 29th. Let me see here.
29th, I believe.
Yeah, because he was paranoid and he called this Jeff Manor, who is his lifelong friend. He had called him and he was paranoid. He called his wife, then wife, they're divorced now, and his daughter wanted to get everybody together. Somehow they ended up together. But that is when he had told his lifelong friend that he heard about this drug deal and he did something really stupid. When his friend had asked him what it was, he stated, I shot 2 people and I'm going to prison for it. His lifelong friend, there's no way he would lie and say that Wayne said something if he didn't do it. Well, then being confronted with the police after his friend heard this, he contacted an officer that he knew as well, that his friend knew as well, contacted this officer. They were supposed to meet at the fire station. When they got closer to the fire station, Wayne started getting really, what did they say, like crazy or just hysterical. And he ended up slitting his wrist because he kept saying he wasn't going to prison. He slit his wrist and then ended up slicing his neck numerous times.
Oh, yeah.
Slicing his throat numerous times. They did do, I think it's less lethal beanbags to get him to cooperate or whatever. But this cut was so severe that they had to do life-saving measures on him. So he was in the hospital. They had to
have the tracheostomy in.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Then when he was at the hospital, they put that trach in him. And after the few weeks in the hospital, he ended up going to jail. And his first time out of his cell, he jumped off of the 3rd tier in the jail. You have tiers. He jumped off the 3rd tier onto the cement there in the jail to try to commit suicide. To try to commit suicide. Now, during the investigation or the interview with Wayne, he did have that trach in him, so he couldn't speak. But he answered the questions with nodding yes nodding yes would be up and down, and negative no would be side to side. And he did do that for a few of the questions, but then they allowed him to write on paper. Now, I don't have what was written on paper yet. I don't have that yet, but I do see the district attorney this coming week. And I'm hoping to get that part of the interview. But I have this one sister out of all of us. There's one sister that is the one that has put so much out on social media and the conspiracy theories and all of this. And there's a news clipping of her saying that she's submitted proof. That is absolutely not true. She submitted a bunch of things that are irrelevant. But everything the district attorney said, everything the detectives had to follow up on, all of the stuff that she was calling about or saying. She went as far as to say that myself and my children and my sister's own daughter had something to do with her murder. Wayne's in jail. He was in prison. And because, I want to state this. So Wayne had public defenders the first time around. Wayne's saying that he did not, he wasn't given the appropriate whatever, he couldn't understand, or they didn't give him the right, whatever it was for him to plea. He said that he didn't understand it. This is why Wayne got this new case or whatever. Someone did, and I don't know I don't know who it is, and I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to do that. But he obtained new attorneys. So with these new attorneys, I'm not sure what it was because of logisticality in the defense attorneys. It has nothing to do with Wayne not being guilty or anything like that. So I just want to make that clear. I just know that he got 28 and a half years. I was not able to be at the trial before. Well, it wasn't even a trial. Sorry. He pled to amended charges and got the 28 and a half years. He was charged with 2 counts of first degree intentional homicide, 2 counts of hiding a corpse, and 1 count of, second degree recklessly endangering safety. And he pled to them amended charges and got the 28 and a half years, which I feel that my sister's murder was brushed under the rug at the time. Because if I was able to be at them court hearings, I would have been to every single one of them, and I would have made sure that justice was served the first time around. So it's, yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm okay.
Anytime you want to take a break or if there's anything you don't want to talk about, just let us know. I know this is so hard for you.
Can I show a picture of my sister? I just want to.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, she was beautiful.
Yeah, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
How old was she at the time?
At the time of her murder, she was 40, 41, 41, I believe.
Okay.
41. Let me think. Don't get me wrong. Oh gosh, I gotta think. She was born in 74 because she's 4 years younger than I am. So,
Yeah.
What is that? Well, I can't do the math right now, but this picture here is my absolute favorite picture of her because we all wore headbands back then.
Yeah.
And curly hair, poofed up hair. And she's 4 years younger than I am. And she would follow me around, and it was so special. And that was the headband that I gave her. And so this will forever be my favorite picture of her.
Oh, she was
So
beautiful.
all your sisters close?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm close with all of them, but the one. And I mean, I love my sister. I do. I love her with all my heart. And I just hope that she sees the light, and I just wish that we didn't have to go through this again, because now it's a trial. Now it's a trial. Now we sit for 2 weeks and listen to detail after detail of what he did.
And we talked with you about this backstage. They don't know in the audience, so we're going to say this again. You have a total, counting you and Lisa, it was 9 sisters.
I'm the oldest of 9.
Yeah, and then Wayne made 10. He was your half brother or adopted. Can you explain that?
Okay, so Wayne was adopted by my biological father when my biological father and his mother married.
Okay.
So he's my stepbrother.
Okay. And growing up, and I don't mean to ask you questions, I'll let you continue in just a second. So just so they kind of get a picture, growing up, was everything, like, did y'all get along? I mean, that's a big family. Did y'all get along? And
Well, Wayne pretty much, he spent a lot of time with my step grandma.
Mhm.
Rest her soul. She's a great woman. Miss her a lot. But he spent a lot of time with her, and then he ended up moving in with her, and moving in with her. I mean, he got everything. She put him through truck driving school, bought him his cars, and just doted on him. And it just, we weren't close. We weren't
Yeah.
close. Yeah, Wayne liked to. He wasn't too nice to to us girls, but he's a boy.
Yeah,
So
he was the only boy. So I was just wondering, did he ever watch out for y'all, or was he like, I was just kind of wondering what he was like
yeah,
because he was
no,
spoiled. Uh, He was more or
yeah,
less spoiled because he was
no,
the only boy.
he no, he was the boy. So like my dad was, I guess, I don't know, my dad was harder on him, or my dad was just, you're the boy. Boys don't put their hands on girls, But there's one memory I have as teenagers when we went to high school together, because Wayne and I are the same age. We pierced our ears.
Yeah.
Introduction of business, So we pierced our ears, and yeah, I knew he was in for it when he got home, because, my dad was just the type that boys don't wear earrings, and so his ear was all swollen and stuff. And I said, yep, I told you not to do it. I said, I told you not to do it. But yeah, so that's, other than that, I didn't see much of him. I really didn't. He spent a whole lot of his time at my step grandma's house. So,
I
So
didn't.
does your dad think he's guilty, or?
so this is another reason that was sensitive with the courts back then, is because in the criminal complaint, my dad wanted the detective to see some text messages. Now, I didn't say a lot, I kind of summed up what's going on, but in the criminal complaint, my dad had a notebook, and my dad, besides the text messages that my dad wanted the detectives to see, my dad had a bunch of stuff written on a notebook. And that notebook went missing. We don't know who took it. My dad has now passed. He passed last year.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what do all your sisters get along well with Lori now, or is she kind of ostracized, or?
She's too wound up, I think, in trying to get Wayne off of murder charges. I want to just clear. Okay, I'm the oldest of 9 girls, but myself, my dad has 4 girls. Okay, I have one full-blooded sister. Okay, this is real. Okay, I have one full-blooded sister. We share the same mom and dad. Then the rest either share a dad or a mom. So, and I'm the oldest of all of them. Now, I don't. That's why my sisters are my sisters. I love them so much. I will never call Wayne my brother ever again. And that's just, he is my stepbrother, and that's the label I stay with.
I understand.
So, but they're half, all of them are half sisters. Some, my father or my biological mother, my biological father, but Wayne is my stepbrother. He is my stepmother's son. And I never was really, really close with them.
Is your mom still living?
No, my mom passed a while ago.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, has Wayne tried to reach out to any of you girls, or?
Wayne actually sent a text message to my sister, who shares the same mom and dad. She actually, I think it was last week, she told me that, last week or the week before, she told me that Wayne reached out to her and told her that he got these new attorneys, and that, that he thinks he's going to get off. Now, also, Wayne, if you see in the news clippings that Wayne said that there was DNA out there that's not his, that is not true either. And I want to be able to send these. I see that, like I said, the district attorney this coming up week. So once I get that information from the district attorney, I want to forward that to Steve, so that he can read that and take with it what he wants. But, it's so important for me to get the truth out, and
Because if there was more DNA there, then somebody would have to have helped him,
right,
because obviously his DNA was there.
right.
That was the big question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. The detective said to me, if there was other DNA out there, there would be somebody else in jail. So
Did Lori have a lot to do with him getting another trial?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think so, because this was attorney, it was something with the attorney. The new attorneys found this or something from the old attorneys. So, but Lori has done a lot of like conspiracy theories. Like it was what did she say? Evil, sadistic half sister Michelle, who you'll find, things like that. And I think it's that she's just very, I guess maybe she's thinking that because she's the only one, that believes that he's innocent, that she's got this shield around him or protecting him. Like she has to, because there's nobody else to do it. His wife left him, he's estranged from us girls, and him reaching out to my sister a couple of weeks ago with that text message. She was just really dumbfounded that he would even say that to her.
but was he always like violent?
Now, not that I've never seen it. But Wayne wasn't on drugs as a teenager. When he was, in the home and around us girls, he wasn't doing drugs. And I truly believe wholeheartedly that this stemmed from the years progressing with the drug use and
Stuff like that, because what I saw the drugs and everything there, and I saw a lot of abuse with his wife. Tabitha was his wife, right?
yes, yeah,
And around the September 29th and stuff like that. And we don't have to get into all that.
right.
But I did see a lot, like with what she was talking to the police and stuff, that there was a whole lot of abuse.
Yes, absolutely. And now with my daughter, my dad would have never, ever, ever, ever given my daughter Wayne's phone number if he thought Wayne was doing drugs. My dad wouldn't have done that. But my daughter had called my dad because her car broke down, and she said, "Grandpa, I need to find a decent car, a reliable car." And he said, "I'm going to give you Uncle Wayne's phone number. You call him. He has hookups on cars or whatever." So this is how this started with my daughter. So then she called Wayne, and Wayne said, "Yep, I have a car for you. I can get you a car." Well, he picked my daughter up in his truck, and then they were heading down Double S, and my daughter's like, "Uncle Wayne, is the car at your house?" Because they were heading towards Uncle Wayne's house. And that's when he said, "No, you stupid, dumb, naive little bee. You think I'm going to take you to my house to F you? Do you think you're going to get a car for free?"
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter said, "You're going to have to kill me." And he had a concealed to carry permit. He reached down with his right hand. My daughter said, I almost said her name, and I don't want to say her name, but he reached down and pulled the gun and put it to her left temple and said, "Well, then I'm going to kill you."
Mm.
Word for word, my daughter said that's all she thought was, how's she going to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she seen him where he had to slow down to go around this curve to the right. So as soon as she seen he started slowing down, she jumped out of the truck. Well, when she jumped out of the truck, it was still going, but she jumped out and she started screaming. Well, there is a older guy that heard her screaming, but he was too far in the distance. And that's when there was a guy coming home early from work at Kurt Manufacturing. He was coming home early from work, and he seen, at that time, my daughter already had her shirt ripped off, because when she jumped out, Wayne put the truck in park, got out of his truck, and went and grabbed my daughter and had her by her neck. The guy screamed, put the girl down. I'm on the phone with 911. He threw my daughter down, got back in his truck, and took off. Well, this gentleman, thank God for this guy, or I wouldn't have a daughter. But he drove my daughter to a neighbor's house that is a nurse at a hospital. And she was home, and she was bandaging up my daughter and taking care of her, gave her a shirt. And at that time, the nurse called me. I was so frantic. I didn't know. I just knew that there was an incident and that my daughter wanted me. The nurse called and said, your daughter needs you. I couldn't even remember the address. I got in my vehicle. I was heading that way, and I seen a sheriff, so I figured I'd follow him, because I figured, well, he's got to be going to the scene. So I followed him. We pulled in, and one of the sheriffs that was there, like I said, we were there. One sheriff was in talking to Bailey. One was outside on the phone, I gather, talking to Wayne. I'm not sure, but Wayne didn't come back to the scene. They didn't even make Wayne come back to the scene. And one of the officers went to school with Wayne and was one of Wayne's friends, acquaintances. So they treated my daughter like a criminal. They believed Wayne. And therefore Wayne wasn't charged. If he was charged with what he did to my daughter, at least kidnapping. He kidnapped my daughter and held a gun to her head. Mm-hmm. There was a witness that stated that when he had my daughter up off the ground 2.5 feet by her neck. He should have been charged that day. If he was charged, there's a good chance, I believe, my sister and her boyfriend would be alive today. Yeah. And so it's just sad all the way around. This is just one tragic incident after another. And I really feel that could have been prevented.
Yeah. It sounds like
his friends in the sheriff's department helped him out. Right.
And I do want to say though, Wayne did say to my son, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Remember that. Yeah. He did say that to him. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Remember that. But like, he hid his drug use from our family for years. He was truck driving and, truck driving and stuff. And and obviously for years, what he was doing to his wife in the criminal complaint, he was using cocaine for years. It said for years, so I'm thinking that the years of the drug abuse, the drug use, has really, it damages you. It's a family disease. Addiction is a family disease. But he was very good at hiding what he was doing and portraying to be a law-abiding citizen and an upstanding guy and all of this. And, at the courts, he had, David the other guy's family starting to second guess if Wayne really did it. I don't believe they read the criminal complaint, though. Not a lot of people have. I thank God I asked for it. I said, I asked the victim witness. I said, can I get a copy of that criminal complaint? Well, then my sister wanted one, and then my other sister wanted one. So, and it's in black and white. The facts are the facts.
I have everything right here too. So that's what I was going to ask you. The other family, if you don't mind, like today, has he tried to contact them? Do you know of? Do y'all ever have?
I don't know if he has tried to. I know that my sister Lori was talking to them at court, after the court appearance or whatever. But I'm looking to talk to them. I've actually got 2 copies of the criminal complaint waiting to hand to his dad and his son, or his brother and his son. So
I wonder if he ever said he was sorry, even, like after he was locked up, to anybody, either side.
No, he's never said sorry. Never said sorry to any of us. Never. And then
guilty, right?
Well, for him to say, I hid the bodies. I didn't shoot them. I hid the bodies.
Yeah, because he did say that.
Yeah. You didn't shoot them, but you hid the bodies on your property, left my sister's car on your property, and then you slit your wrist, you slit your throat, and you jump off of a third tier, but you just hid their bodies.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Who does he claim shot him?
Oh, he hasn't said anybody.
Oh,
No one. No. And it's just sickening, and it just hurts my heart that my niece and my nephews are enduring this time and time again and now with this trial. Now we have to sit through this trial,
Yeah.
and shame on him. Shame on him. No remorse. I mean, that's an empty soul. He's an empty soul. And I was thinking too, gosh, maybe this time and him sitting in jail, and sobering up, maybe his conscience will get the better of him, It hasn't.
If he goes to trial and he loses, did I read somewhere where he could get life?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 2 life sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's willing to take that chance?
Well, he won't take 50 years. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Wow.
It's bound to have an emotional toll on the whole family. I
It
can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more. That's what I was getting at. If y'all were closed a while ago, I'm sure there's no Thanksgiving dinners coming up anytime soon. I mean, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy, and I don't know how. I don't even understand. They said it was. It had also something to do with a guilty plea. It had something to do with the double jeopardy thing too. I don't know. I didn't get into all the legalities of that stuff, but it's a big mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's everything. I mean, are all your sisters, any of y'all? If this is not too sensitive, if it is, you don't have to answer. But have y'all got any kind of therapy to deal with all of this? Does that?
I go to therapy.
Good.
I have to be strong for my niece.
Yeah.
Mainly my niece. Because it really affected my niece to the point where she started using, and she went to treatment. She's doing really good right now, but I was there for her graduation and treatment, and it's just really, I just feel so bad for her. Because I get to hold my brand new baby granddaughter, and my daughter is so grateful for me, and my niece won't have that ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle, are you doing okay? Do you want to take a break, or do you want to end
I'm
this?
fine.
You're okay?
Yeah.
Anytime you want to take a break, our audience is good. They'll wait. I mean, if you want to take a break and go get something to drink, or
Yeah, let's do that.
okay, let her take a break. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you take a break. We'll be right here, okay? That's hard.
Okay.
Take a break.
I'll take you off camera so you won't feel.
Okay.
Okay.
you're being
Take
watched.
your time.
Okay.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah, that's really a sad story. Really a sad story.
Yeah. I thank everybody in our audience that's watching this. This is really, they're saying they'll wait. They're fine. This is they're saying stay strong. Prayers for Michelle. Let me go back and see. They're saying give Steve a thumbs up, but they're listening, and I appreciate everybody that's in here right now. Yes, definitely put up your trigger warnings, y'all. You know how I get immersed myself into all of this when I do interviews and stuff like this. I appreciate this so much. I do, and I appreciate you being here and watching this. And this is tough for her to tell her story.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, oh man, she needs to get this out.
Thanks to the mods. We appreciate you.
Yes, thanks to all my mods. I know this is not easy because, I know a lot of my people in my chat and stuff is victims, and and they're survivors, and so I know this can't be easy for them, and I appreciate them being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see Michelle has sat back down. Michelle, do you want to be brought up now, or you ready? Okay. I'm gonna bring her back. She shook her head. Yes, she's good.
Okay.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you're doing okay.
Doing all right.
Anytime you want to stop, don't feel bad. We got a good group of people here, okay?
Okay.
And we want you to get your story out.
I think it's important
I do.
Yeah.
to get the truth out there. Wayne doesn't deserve to walk among society. He just don't.
And we don't want this happening to anybody else, and I don't know. I'm not saying guilty in it. I'm not there. No, I'm not, either way. I'm letting you tell your story. Steve's letting you tell your story. I'm trying to I'm trying to listen. Okay.
Right.
You
Right.
know, but you, please, I want you to get it out there.
Right.
And I think it's good for you to get it out there. And you told me earlier, what did you tell me backstage? You said you were doing this for your sister.
My sister.
How did the rest of your family feel about you coming on tonight?
Oh, my sisters, they're, what's the link? They wanted the link. And like, what's the link? And I said, well, I'm sure it'll be on YouTube, and
Yeah.
I have some sisters that are in the Milwaukee area, one of my sisters comes up quite frequently. And I believe she'll be coming to the court, to the trial too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If they ever want to talk, we would love to hear from them too. Anybody's welcome, you know. But I'm so glad you're here. I really am.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do you feel like taking questions from the people
Sure.
in chat, Michelle? Okay.
Sure.
So, those of you in chat, feel free to ask questions if you like.
You're saying thank you so much for sharing with us. You're a very strong person.
Thank you.
So, do y'all have questions you would like to ask?
Well, maybe they don't have questions.
They probably don't know what to ask. They feel sad. Um, they do feel sad. Just keep an eye on that. I let me see. I might have had a few. Not like I hadn't been asking them. I'm sorry. Um,
Now, have you been on any other shows talking about this, Michelle? Or
No, I haven't. I have
I
not.
hope it feels good to be here to share your story. I do.
Right. I did join a couple groups on Facebook. Siblings of murdered siblings. It's a support group, which is really helpful. Also, the true crime, a couple that I shared, I wrote about the story a little bit, but
Yeah.
I haven't come on and spoke with anybody.
Yeah.
But my therapist, I told my therapist everything.
Yeah. Someone has asked me, I asked what type of drugs was he on at the time?
The toxicology report states that he was on he had high levels of methamphetamine and cocaine in his system at the time of his arrest.
Yeah.
did it take how long? It took him like 6 days. Was it 6 days that he was arrested from the time it happened?
Yep.
So his friend, and the cops and all that. What do they say to this day? I mean,
Well, his friend, I really haven't talked to him, but he's an upstanding guy, and yeah, and I'm sure he will be a witness for the prosecution.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
is a time you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't think he believed that. I mean, this is how good Wayne hid his drug use, because I don't believe, because this friend of his, is friends with officers and things like that. And so I don't know if that's how Wayne knew these other officers or not, but he's not a substance use,
Mhm.
you know, he's never done substance use, so therefore, Wayne even hid it from him.
Well, it can, people can hide it, believe it or not. And people can, sometimes if they're real close to you, they choose not to, or they don't want to believe it. But I was reading in the report, his friend, I think we're talking about the same one, the Maynard guy or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it right. When he went to meet him at the truck, when he was driving the truck, he said he stepped up on the step
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking to him through the window. And Wayne told him to get down and get out of his face. So he stepped back down and was talking to him. But he said he was acting weird and all paranoid and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't understanding that. So he stepped down and was talking to him. But he actually got him to, hey, can I meet you or meet you at your job and we'll drive the car back together or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Get whoever's car and drive it back together. And Wayne finally agreed to that, but he didn't know why he was acting so strange.
Right.
So he didn't do that. And then that's when he cut his wrist and all that and met the officer on the side of the road.
Yep.
Which a lot of people don't understand that. But I got this and I have been reading this from head to toe. So there's a lot in here. So, please understand his friend didn't know that. And I believe his friend.
Right.
And I think it can be hidden. I think drugs can be hidden, especially if people are well respected.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Sometimes, believe it or not, you can have respect for people and not want them to know things, and they won't know it.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and alcoholics and addicts are great manipulators and liars and forever claiming to be innocent and clean and sober.
Exactly.
Right. And that's just it with me with Wayne. I thought maybe if he, him being sober and him being in jail a while, and that's why I don't understand. I mean, it has to be, I just don't know. I don't know. My sister Lori said, there's been a lot of liars and a lot of cowards in this case, and my brother's not one of them. Your brother is the only one of them, Lori. Yeah. He's the only one. He's a liar and a coward. And, I just hope and pray, that's all I can do, that her eyes will be opened, because she's suffering too. As much as she's wanting to protect him and stuff, she's suffering. My sister is suffering,
Yeah.
She is. And it's hurting her. And she lost a sister. She lost a brother.
Right.
Everybody. The whole family's torn apart.
Right. And I just hope she can find comfort, and I mean, we're family, no matter what, I'll always love her and want the best for her. And if she was to call me and tell me she needed me, I would be there.
Yeah.
Is any of your siblings in contact with Wayne or anybody writing?
Just Lori. And like I said, he sent an email or something to one of my other sisters about, him getting new attorneys and, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
But I do want to say my nephew actually, after this happened to his mom, he's never been right in the head since. And he's a substance user now too. And I've tried to get help for him, and it's just.
Sometimes people use that for an escape, and that's probably what he done.
Right.
Can I ask how old he is, or?
He would be 28.
Yeah. That's so sad.
Right.
Makes me want to come through here and give you a big hug right now. I do.
Okay. When I get off here, I've got a 2.5-year-old grandson that I'm gonna just snuggle with. So
Yeah. I know this is not. Oh God, I know it's not easy. I don't know, but I feel it's. I feel it. I feel your pain.
Back to what Steve said about my dad. When I was saying that my dad wanted the detectives to see, and he had that notebook that somehow disappeared, and me and my one sister were just wondering how, where Wayne was in jail, so he didn't take it, this notebook. But my dad did say he knows what he knows. And now when this happened with my with my daughter ended up calling my dad. I was already on the way, but my dad was so close to my kids too. But she called my dad and told my dad what Wayne had done. And my dad says, call the authorities on the son of a B. My dad knew then that, he didn't know prior when he gave her when he gave my daughter Wayne's phone number. But at that moment, my dad said that. Bailey said, I said my daughter's name. Oh, well. My daughter said, I already did, Grandpa, and Mom's on her way. Well, then, then at the hospital, when Wayne was in the hospital after this happened, when he slit his throat, that's when the detective came to my dad and said about something about Wayne being under the influence. My dad said, my son does not do drugs. And the detective looked at him and said, Paul, your son's toxicology report states that he had high levels of methamphetamine and cocaine in his system.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my dad had an inkling, because he knew when my daughter told him, my dad had said, call the, authorities. And then this happened 5 weeks later when my dad knew then. I mean, he says, I know what I know. My dad said, whether, it was Wayne or whoever, they need to be held accountable. But that's why my dad started keeping that notebook of text messages, or how my nephew was acting, or when Wayne would call my stepmom and he'd overhear the conversations and stuff. My dad kept a notebook. And my dad's gone, and so is the notebook.
Wow. So nobody still knows where that notebook's at?
No.
Now, when he was initially convicted, did you all feel some sort of closure at that time and think it was all dealt with and over?
I mean, I did, but I still felt that my sister's murder was brushed under the rug because of my sister Lori and my stepmother in the defense defending, standing by Wayne.
Yeah.
So it's not only Lori, my stepmother as well. But I wasn't there to be in the prosecution, behind. I wasn't there. And so this is actually, I feel that this is actually me being able to be present and have my sister's voice, to be my sister's voice this time around.
Well, it's understandable that your stepmother would be for her son, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She gave birth to him. Absolutely. you know, and even my sister, you know, I'm not on here, you know, to shit on my sister. Like I said, I love her. I'm not doing that. I just want the truth out, because my sister, her beliefs are her beliefs. The facts are the facts. And if people read the criminal complaint, and if Wayne was charged with what he did to my daughter, that would be public record too. You know, still is a criminal complaint. The criminal complaint with my daughter, it exists, but he wasn't charged. So anybody could go and get the criminal complaint on what he did to my daughter, criminal complaint on what he did to my sister and her boyfriend, but people aren't reading them. So they're believing, you know, it's the social media. It's like a feeding frenzy, you know, you throw something out and it just goes like, and it's just, if people would read the criminal complaint and they would read the facts, they would know Wayne did it, nobody else. He tried to commit suicide because he's a coward and he doesn't want it. And it says how many times in the criminal complaint, I'm not going to prison. I don't want to go to prison. I shot 2 people and I'm going to prison for it. I don't want to go to prison. That's why he cut his wrist. That's why he slit his throat. And that's why he jumped off the tier.
Has he attempted suicide in prison?
Not that I know of. I know he was in what's it called? Special
Protective custody?
Yeah, like a special, like for, yeah, special. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but it's like special segregate to where there's one cell, you know.
And but didn't he
special needs? It's like special needs to where like you aren't in with the general public.
Yeah. He's not in general population. He was segregated.
Yeah, he wasn't at the time. I don't know, like with prison. Oh, actually, he's back in Eau Claire County right now. So this was another ploy of his to get back in to the, you know, to the city we're in, so he can have that, you know, the visits with my sister and, you know, my stepmom, because he was sent out of state because it's, you know, and so he couldn't get them visits and stuff. So.
Now, do y'all live in a small town or is it a big city?
A small town.
Okay. So everybody knows about what's going on there.
Oh yeah, it's a small town. It's gotten a little bit bigger, but it's okay. We're in between Madison, Wisconsin. If you know where Madison, Wisconsin is, the state capital. So we're between Madison, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
Yeah. So
we're up towards the north, almost to the border of Minnesota, just a smaller town. And where he was from and where he buried my sister, that's even smaller yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
did they find his actual DNA there?
Yes. Yep.
So they found his, and now he's saying they found somebody else's too. That's what he's saying.
That's what he said. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did he have a lot of friends in your town?
No, not in my town. No, like where he lived was a really smaller town. But see, he was a truck driver, so he was gone a lot too, which I think really played a part in people not knowing, you know, about his substance use.
Yeah.
You know, because he was gone a lot. He was over the road. You know, and there's, you know, some family members have said that he was actually having my nephew and a few other family members sell for him, which that's where it comes in, where Lisa knows too much and can't keep her effing mouth shut. Yeah. So that is where that comes in. But like I said, the criminal complaint doesn't mention any of that. And I just really kind of want to stick, you know, to that. But I do believe it. I mean, it's a reliable family member, so I believe it.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Was he ever did he have a criminal record?
No, actually, and this is what it's just, I'm dumbfounded because the only thing he has on his record is burning without a burning permit.
Wow.
But it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you myself, I can tell you that he was in a car wreck and rear-ended somebody. And he should have at least gotten, what's it called? Well, that wouldn't be criminal though. Maybe it would be. I don't know. But he has admitted that this is why he told my son this. It's what you know, or it's who you know. It's not what you know, because he's gotten off of things before. Well, when you have police as associates, now I'm not here to piss on the police either, or the detectives, But that police officer that was at the scene of my daughter's and with the incident with Wayne and my daughter, them 2 officers should be fired, and that's not over yet either, because it's not over yet. My daughter. There was some stuff said in the criminal complaint that the officer that knows my stepbrother is the one that wrote out the criminal complaint, which in the criminal complaint, it states that my daughter went to school with this guy that came home from Kurt Manufacturing, which isn't true. I think that really played a part in why they didn't charge Wayne too, because my daughter didn't go to school with this guy. My daughter went to school with his niece or cousin, like a distant relative. But of course, the officer that's, associated with Wayne, whatever, is going to put that they went to school together, But I don't want to go on and on about that right now, because I want to stick to this. But there's just, it's who you know. It's not what you know. And I guess to answer your question, Steve, did he have a lot of friends? That's irrelevant. It was the friends he did have. They might not be a lot, but it was the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, who you know does matter sometimes,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I agree with that.
Really a sad story, Michelle, and I hate that y'all are still living through the trauma. And I hope it ends well. If there is such a thing of ending well in this,
Right. Well, the healing process is, I don't think, it will not truly start until the court process is over, And that's the agonizing part about it, is because we got, relive this.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
the trial is in January, right? The new trial.
Yes. Yeah. January. I don't have the paper on me, but I think I sent it to you.
I think it was the 31st, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
I think it's January 30 or January 31st to February 15th or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, 14th or 15th. Yeah.
so you're gonna, I assume, go there every day.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And you're going to try to talk to the other family you want
Yes.
to talk to?
Yes. I'm going to go there early. I do, thank goodness for the news clip, because now I know what they look like.
Yeah. Is there anything that like we can help you with that you need, or that could help the process along, that we can help you get maybe, or make it easier? I don't know.
Actually, I'm in therapy, and I'm processing through even the death of my dad right now. But yeah, I'm actually in EMDR therapy for trauma. And as far as that goes, I'm on siblings of murdered siblings, which is a support group, which actually helps me. I'm more concerned about like my niece, and my nephew. So them are who I'm actually more worried about. I'll be good, and I know that my sister's with me, and I know that, she's saying, you get them, way to go. So,
Yeah.
and I find comfort in that, knowing that she knows that even though she can't speak, She's speaking through me.
Yes, you're doing it for her.
Mhm.
You just continue to do what you're doing, and that's a good thing.
Mhm.
And just be there, do what you feels right. Everything else will fall into place.
Right.
Everything else, you have to do for you and what you feels right for your sister, and speak it
Right.
up. That's what I think.
Michelle, you are very brave for coming on, and we do appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you for having me. And I'm definitely going to send you updates.
Okay.
Please do. Please
And
do.
if you ever want to come back and talk about it more, or your sisters or whatever, feel free to
Absolutely.
contact me. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. She was so brave.
Yes, yes, so brave and sweet lady, and I hope everything goes okay with her.
I do too. I mean, that's,
Yeah, it's bound to be rough living through that trauma again, you know.
yeah, yeah. To put those kids through it, and her, and I mean, it's just such a heartbreaking story. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah. Well, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you, mods, for taking care of things, and I appreciate everybody. And if nobody has any questions or any other comments or anything, unless Smiley has something else, we'll
Now,
call it a night.
I just want to thank everybody for being so good in chat, and thank you for listening to this story, and I hope that we can bring you more stories like this. Stories like this need to be heard. I honestly think so.
And just to give you a little preview of next week, we're going to be talking with Michael Bonfrentry. I hope I said his last name right. He's an ex-mafia guy. Yeah, and done a lot of undercover work for Sheriff's Department also. So he's got some stories to tell. So it's going to be interesting.
That was a surprise to me. I didn't know that.
I knew you were very involved in reading everything of this case. So I didn't want to bog you down with more.
Oh gosh.
But
Okay.
I will.
So I got a request then. So not from you, from anybody that wants to email me or you. Go ahead and send questions, and we can get them piled up in advance, and then maybe we can ask Mike.
Yeah, yeah. He's a great guy, and he's interesting.
Yeah, because I think that with the case that we have going on with Summer and stuff like that, we might need to know some things with mafia stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and everybody wants to be nice to him now. No disrespect. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, please don't. Smiley don't need no mafia. Smiley don't need no disrespect. We don't disrespect the mafia, okay?
There you go. Or anybody else.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for being here. It's been wonderful, and I invite you back again next week. So have a great night. God bless you, and stay out of trouble, and be nice to one another.
Yes.
Good night.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.